Good morning or good evening, wherever you're at. Welcome back. This is going to be a fairly quick video. I'm just going to walk through a dead simple way to really add some pizzazz visually to your game. So I think I'm going to start by showing you what we're going to be looking at, and then we will build it together. All right. Mind your ears for a minute. I'm going to have to turn the sound off of the game. Okay. So what we are going to be building is we have a dark cave, and as you approach the light, it gets lighter, and if you look, the light is affecting our character and is directional. Now obviously this isn't the same as a 3D light in a 3D game, but it is directional dynamic lighting, and I think it adds quite a bit. So let's show how we did this. Alright, so we are going to be using one plugin for this. It's a plugin I've talked about before in this series. It is by Hudell, and it is called Cyclone Maps. It is this one. Okay, and I do have this linked in another video, and I'll go ahead and link it in the description for this video as well. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we are going to make a copy of this map. So we're going to right click, well, stay on the right map, we're going to right click, we're going to hit save as image, and then we're going to save it. Okay, I've already done this, so I'm not going to do it again. It's going to save wherever you tell it to. Then we're going to open this up in an image editing program. Now, last time I used Aspirate, which I really love, but for this purpose, we really do want to use something more like GIMP or Photoshop. When it first loads up, it's going to look like this. Right, so just a copy of your map. What you're going to want to do is make a few new layers. So the first couple of layers you're going to want to make are 2 shadow layers and then a light layer. Okay? Your shadow layer, you're going to set to an opacity of around, well, I can get into it, around 40% for both of your shadows. Your first shadow layer, you're going to choose a color that is either like a deep purple or a deep blue, something that adds a little bit of accent, right? And then your second shadow layer is just going to be black. You're going to do just the paint bucket tool to fill in those two. Just the black looks fine, but when you add in that purple, it really adds some ambiance to the whole. Okay? So that's what we're looking for there. Now the more, kind of the magic of it all is our light layer. Our light layer is comprised of a brush, and I like to do an opacity of around 35% and brush with a hardness of 0.25. And then size, it's going to vary from light to light and situation to situation. So for the one we're going to make together, I have a brazier that's going to be right here. And this is where it's centered. So I'm going to go and I'm going to choose, because this is a regular brazier, not a purple one, I'm going to choose a color that's kind of fiery, so oranges. And you want it to be on the brighter end. So something like that. Choose your color, and then center right where the light is, one click. I'm also going to put a brazier over here, so we're going to do one click. And I'm going to do a brazier down here, so one click. Alright, then we're going to go back to our shadow layers, turn those back on. And using the exact same brush, we're going to flip it over to erase, and we're going to do the exact same thing. One click. One click. One click. And then our second shadow layer, exactly the same. Click. 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 Alright. So that's all we're doing there. We're going to turn off our map image. We're going to turn off our light image. We're going to say export as, and for this plugin you would have to name it shadow and light and then the number of the map. So in my case that's map 8. So I overrode my shadow 8, and then I'm going to turn on my light, turn off everything else. Export as light 8, export. Now we're going to go ahead and go back into RPG Maker. I've got one brazier here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it to all the other places I added a brazier. And last but not least, for the plugin, you have to put in the word shadow and light, because that's the 2 layers we're using. There are other layers you can use with the plugin in brackets. And then, of course, make sure the plugin is actually on. After that, you should be able to jump into your game. And we have that same exact effect. Well, I need to move the braziers down, obviously. But yeah, you have that exact effect once again. That fast, that easy. There's a lot more you can do with lighting effects, to be sure. But this really adds pizzazz really fast. We're talking minutes. All right, well, hopefully this was helpful, and happy game making. Take care.